Reddit, what is the biggest thing someone has ever spoiled for you? In general, I don't like that I, and everyone around my age for that matter, grew up knowing that Darth Vader is Luke's father. I really wish I could have been one of the first people to see The Empire Strikes Back when it first came out and bask in the unexpectedness and surprise of it all. I found out my best friend's girlfriend was cheating on him. Little did he know that I also knew that he was doing the same, and funnily enough I knew the people they were cheating with as well. So as any one friend in their right mind would do, I only invited the four of them over for drinks, making them believe it was going to be a big party. Hilarity ensued. Okay, so I see this generated quite a lot of interest, and how can I not oblige but to complete the story? So, I told them to reach my place at around 8 p.m. My friend and his girlfriend were actually quite punctual, so I told them that I had changed the time to the last minute, just in case. During the 45 minutes before the people they were cheating with arrived, I made sure that there was enough alcohol to sedate a moose, and a little nudge on a man's ego goes a long way. So the truth reaches my place and I greet them at the door, so I lead them inside to meet their secret lovers. As soon as they enter, my friend, who is at this point quite drunk, looks at his girlfriend with tears streaming down his face. His girlfriend looks at the other girl and charges blindly. Alcohol can do that, and if I must say so myself, the takedown was quite impressive. So being the gentleman that I am, I intervened, restraining her and calmly saying, should he beat him up? After that is quite a bit of screaming, shouting, fighting, I sat back, made myself a drink and had a personal showing of Jerry Springer, Maori. I lost 4 friends, but it was worth it.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please like and subscribe.
I didn't see The Sixth Sense until a few months after it came out. Everyone was talking about it. But I would leave the room when the subject came up because it was obvious there was some big spoiler. Hell, I had to leave parties so I wouldn't hear what the big gotcha was. I made it 7 weeks and then was finally able to go see the movie. I was pretty psyched. Everybody had been talking about it and about how good it was. Just as the lights were dimming, a stranger sitting 2 seats down in the half-empty theater leans over and says, I can't believe Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. Over the summer, my friend was at a summer camp called CTY, Center for Talented Youth. It's basically a nerd camp. That summer, however, The Half-Blood Prince was coming out. CTY is a sleepaway camp, and it's very hard to hear much from the outside world for the 3 weeks that you're there. Obviously, if you have a bunch of nerds together, they're going to want to get their hands on the new Harry Potter book. To deter this, the counselors thought of a brilliant plan. In the dining hall, there's a giant blackboard. Before all the kids filed in for dinner, they wrote the following sentence. Snape kills Dumbledore. Oh, the screams were heard for miles. Here's one I copy-paste whenever people get frustrated at our funny old language. Don't know who the original author was. If anyone out there can help to give credit? I take it you already know. Of tough and bow and cough and dough? Others may stumble, but not you. On hiccup, thorough, slough, and through. Well, don't. And now you wish, perhaps, to learn of less familiar traps. Beware of herd, a dreadful word. That looks like beard but sounds like bird. And dead, it's said like bed, not bead. For goodness sake, don't call it deed. Watch out for meat and great and threat. They rhyme with sweet and straight and dead. A moth is not a moth as in mother. Nor both as in bother, nor broth as in brother. And here is not a match for there. Nor dear and fear, for bear and pear. And then there's dose and rose and lose. Just look them up and goose and choose. And cork and work and card and ward. And font and front and word and sword. And do and go, then thwart and cart. Come, come. I've hardly made a start. A dreadful language? Why, man alive. I learned to talk it when I was 5. And yet to write it, the more I tried. I hadn't learned it at 50. My best friend told me my boyfriend had a ring on him and was proposing to me 15 minutes before he did it. I was pissed at her. I was surprised, but would have liked to be uber surprised since I had no idea till she said something. Fiank didn't tell her. She saw felt box in his pocket while we were walking to destination and figured it out. Her hand wasn't in his pocket and she wasn't feeling him up. She brushed against his leg while we were walking. At the time, group was on the break wall, so not much space to wander around. There were 18 of us. No funny business, I actually spoiled Christmas for myself one year. By age 13, I was a clever boy. I had mastered the art of removing Scotch tape from Christmas presents without leaving any evidence, so when I discovered Zelda, Link to the Past under the tree, I did what I think any of us would have done in similar circumstances. I swapped that bitch out with a Pilot Wings cartridge. That was 2 weeks before Christmas. By the time I opened the gift, I had already beaten the game and was well on my way toward a 100 completion run. I had to fake enthusiasm for something my mother knew I really wanted, and I felt fucking awful for it. I never did get 100 completion, and the last time I fired it up in an emulator I felt enough of a twinge of that old guilt that I couldn't bring myself to play for very long. So I guess I actually spoiled that game for myself, too, who my real birth mother was. I was in one of those messed up family situations where a young teen girl gets pregnant and the parents decide to raise the baby as their own. I was that baby. Apparently, it was a well-kept secret in my family, despite almost everyone, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, etc., knowing about it. On my 14th birthday, my drunk uncle figured it was time I find out my 27-year-old sister was my real mom. At first I was pissed because it seemed like everyone had kept something incredibly important from me and lied to me all these years. Got over it pretty quickly, since I felt my mom, who is actually my grandmother, was my real mom. Same thing goes for dad. I am now 25 and I still have no idea who my real birth father is. I ain't even mad. TLDR, Drunkle thought it would be fun to tell me I'm really Jack Nicholson on my 14th birthday. For Christmas once, when I was a kid, all my sister and I got were pamphlets and brochures and the promise of Disney World. We were so excited. Then, instead, my parents got divorced. Mom, sister and I moved in with grandma and my mom had to spend the money on a car. It was terrible. It has come to my attention that I totally misunderstood the question. Thanks for all the upvotes anyway. Takes the edge off some horrible memories. So here's the actual spoiler. This is how my sister and I found out there was no Santa. Oh Lord, I could never handle that. Christ, I get angry enough when I'm watching a movie with someone who's already seen it and they say you'll see that this guy here is blah 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 and later on he'll. STFU. Let me watch and absorb the movie and when it's done, then we can discuss all of it.
I turned 36 this year and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug. It's called Mack's Pillar Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
I flipped at my mom because she made my pizza Lunchables and one of the pizzas only had 2 pieces of the pepperoni flavored sausages. I knew there were 9 in the box, 3 for each pizza, and she had eaten 1. My mom felt terrible, but told me that she didn't think I would notice. When I was in college, Lunchables were on sale. I got one and it had 10 total pieces of pepperoni. I called her that day and told her that I could finally forgive her. She didn't know what the hell I was talking about. I read each new Harry Potter in the weekend it came out to avoid any spoilers from school the next week. The week after the 6th came out, every well-read jerk in the school took it as a challenge of who could ruin the spoiler in the most insidious way. Go to the bathroom, it's written in big letters on the back of the stall door. You'd open up a book in the library, there'd be a note inside saying Snape kills Dumbledore. Someone even wrote it in the front cover in one of the library's new copies of Half-Blood Prince. It was a madhouse. Since everyone was pointing out HBP came out in July, I should point out I went to school in Australia. The week after the Saturday it came out here was the first week back to school after winter holidays. I was unspoiled with Star Wars, but in a different way. Until I was in the 3rd or 4th grade, I had no idea there was more than one Star Wars movie. I had seen Return of the Jedi, and for a very long time, thought it was a standalone movie. An awesome standalone movie. Then, One day in school, they pulled all of the girls from the class, to give them the big puberty female hygiene talk, and put all of the boys in the library to keep us occupied. They pulled out a TV, popped a tape into the VCR, and up came the familiar boom of the Star Wars intro, but then I noticed that the writing in the crawl was different than what I remembered. And then, instead of Tatooine, it cut to a snow planet. And then there was Luke Skywalker riding some kind of animal. What was this? What's going on? And then I realized, it's another Star Wars movie. I was surprised, and absolutely thrilled. And to add that, we only got to watch about a half hour of the movie before we went back to resume class. I didn't get to see them leave Hoth. So not only was there this magical, out of nowhere new Star Wars movie, but I was pulled away from it just when it was getting good. I couldn't find it again for ages. I didn't know anyone else who was into Star Wars that much, and my parents only knew Roach, so when I asked them if they could find me Star Wars movies, they only brought home that one. I never saw it fully, completely from beginning to end until the re-release in 1997. Same goes for A New Hope. I loved what I got to see of Star Wars as a kid, but I was severely starved of it for a long time. Lost. It had ended, but I was watching it on DVD. I told my coworker that I just finished second to last season and was really looking forward to seeing how it all ended, and that I was going to watch it in the coming week. She said, "Oh, yeah, my husband and I watched that series but we finished it and moved on to Stargate." It turns out that, and here she tells me exactly how it ends. Really? I just got finished telling you I was all excited to see how it ended, and that I was going to watch it immediately. Sixth Sense was ruined by my teacher in high school. It was still before DVD, we're watching it in VHS format. She played the movie from the halfway point because she didn't want to rewind it, then when the movie ended and it auto-rewound, she played it from the beginning. So I knew from the beginning that Bruce Willis was a ghost. Eat a dick, Miss Frantic, you technologically inept cunt.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So, it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug. It's called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So, investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.